Thank you for joining us, EC Council University, in our webinar series entitled Careers in Cybersecurity. The Demand Continues. I will be your host this morning during the webinar. My name is Mark Buck. I am Vice President of Marketing and Admissions with EC Council University. So I'd officially like to thank you on behalf of the EC Council University leadership team, and hopefully you will find today's information very informative. A quick agenda of what you can expect during today's webinar. We're going to talk a little bit about who EC Council University is. We've gotten a lot of response from individuals that are attending today, indicating they're not really sure who EC Council University is. So we'll talk a little bit about who we are and the role we play in the world of cybersecurity. We're going to get into talking about current trends and threats that exist within the global cybersecurity arena today. We're going to talk about the industries that are in demand and that are in need of cybersecurity professionals as their industries continue to grow. We're going to talk about the global employment outlook. What does the job look like? The job outlook look like for the next 3, 5, 15, 20 years in cybersecurity. And then we'll talk about why earning a degree versus a certification is important, and the difference between earning a degree and a certification in cybersecurity. So who are we? Who is EC Council University? Well, we are a university dedicated to creating and helping individuals become cybersecurity professionals. How do we do that? We do that by creating superior programs that enable our graduates to face the latest risks and help lead their colleagues and their organizations in overcoming those challenges. We're going to talk a little bit later about why cybersecurity is such a fast-moving and is such a fast-paced industry and why things are always changing. So our goal and our role at EC Council University is to make sure that our students and our graduates are prepared to face those most current risks and challenges that organizations are facing from a cybercrime perspective. EC Council University actually builds on the recognition and the strength of our parent organization. Some of you may have heard of EC Council. Well, EC Council is our parent organization, and they are one of the world's leading providers of cybersecurity certifications. The International Council of Electronic Commerce Consultants, also EC Council, provides hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity certifications across the world every year. And in addition to that, EC Council fundamentally built EC Council University many years ago to complement that ability to prepare individuals to be professionals within the cybersecurity industry. EC Council, we are a fully accredited, licensed U.S. institution, and we're licensed by the New Mexico Higher Education Department, and we became licensed by them in 2006. EC Council University is a fully accredited and recognized university. As I mentioned before, we are a U.S.-based institution, although many of our students are international students, and we still provide some of the leading programs across the world. We are accredited through DEAC, which stands for the Distance Education Accrediting Commission. It is the highest accrediting body when it comes to online education. We are a fully online university, so having that accreditation is very critical, very important, and something we're proud of. We're also recognized by other organizations that you can see on the screen. We are CHIA recognized, and we're also recognized by the American Council on Education, better known as ACE, and then also the National Council for State Authorization Reciprocity Agreements. Apologize for that. So these recognitions and this accreditation is very critical, and again, something we're very proud of, which is an indication to our students that the quality of education they receive is of the highest standard, and the recognition of the certifications and the degrees that they earn while at ECCU is of the highest standard. When asked, who is EC Council University? we often like to say we are our alumni. We let our alumni really, really speak for ourselves. Our university places particular value on the qualities of ethical behavior, innovative thinking, critical thinking, scholarship, and leadership. All very important when studying or earning a certification or taking a course at an institution of higher learning. Our goal is to make sure that our students become very critical thinkers, and they think very innovatively. And by doing that, they become very research-oriented problem solvers, so that when they're out there and they're working for their employers, they're bringing all of those skills, the innovative thinking, the critical thinking, the problem-solving skills to the position, other than just simply holding a certification in a cybersecurity area. Oops. I also like to tell people EC Council University is our faculty. The majority of our faculty are adjunct faculty, and what that means is they hold full-time jobs in the industry, and then as part of their credentials, they also teach with EC Council University. We take great pride in our faculty, and we take great pride in building our faculty in this manner. Reason being, it allows our faculty to bring real-world experience into the classroom. One of the things we'll talk about are the iLab experiences. The iLab experiences, which are led by our faculty and by our instructors, give our students the opportunity to work on real-world situations and real-world scenarios. And we rely on our faculty to bring those scenarios into the classroom. So let's talk a little bit about the current environment in cyber crime and why the need for cybersecurity continues to grow and will continue to grow over the next 20 years, as we'll see. There was a study conducted by the University of Maryland, and it basically states that computer hacks happen on an average of every 39 seconds. So when you kind of calculate what that means in terms of financial damage to organizations and to our economies, cybercrime is estimated to have inflicted damages $6 trillion, and that's in US dollars, but $6 trillion globally in 2021. We're still waiting to see what those figures look like for 2022, but we're anticipating that they more than likely will probably double. And what does that mean? That means that cybercrime costs continue to grow, and they're expected to grow by 15% over the next 5 years. They are anticipating, and the experts are anticipating, that by 2025, that those damages will exceed $10 trillion. And with the changes in technology and innovation, and we'll talk about some of those, it just simply means that there's more opportunity for cybercrime to occur. Thus, the need and the increased need for cybersecurity enhancements and more cybersecurity professionals. If you calculate what those damages mean, it's actually the greatest transfer of economic wealth in history. And if you take all of the natural disasters that happen globally in a year, they still won't equate to the damages that are inflicted upon because of cybercrime. And cybercrime actually is more profitable worldwide than all of the major illegal drugs put together. So just if you pause and if you think about that, there's more damage done financially because of cybercrime than all of the global illegal drug trades. So I want to put that in perspective to help individuals understand that cybercrime isn't just somebody hacking into your computer, getting your checking account number, and purchasing $20 worth of goods on Amazon. And we'll talk about what some of those significant crimes are looking like and what they may actually end up being. But what is some of that crime? Well, it can be the destruction of data for an entire organization. It can be stolen money, lost productivity, can actually be the theft of intellectual property, personal financial data, embezzlement, fraud, anything that you can think of where somebody has an opportunity to steal data, where somebody has the opportunity to paralyze an organization. And we'll talk about some of those in a bit. All of those are what is related to cybercrime. Again, I really want to emphasize that the trends and the threats are continuing, but why? One of them is the advancement in technology and innovation. That's created the opportunity for increased risk and threat levels. Anytime you see a significant advancement in technology or innovation, the increased risk for cybercrime goes hand in hand with that, and the threat levels automatically increase. The use of artificial intelligence and the increased use of artificial intelligence is going to continue to also create an increased level of risk and threat to organizations. The digital landscaping, right? Organizations going more and more virtual and digital has also provided increased levels of risk and threat. And if we think about what the pandemic did, it created and it required organizations to look at how their employees work. We now have more employees working remotely and working from home than ever than in the history of global employment. So along with that, that created an entirely new set of challenges for organizations. And while allowing more and more employees to work remotely, that too, because of that advancement in innovation, requires organizations to make sure that they have what's called a security first mentality to ensure that when they're taking that laptop and they're shipping it to somebody who's going to be working from home, that all the protected firewalls, data enhancements are there to protect the organization and protect the data. So we talked a little bit about cybercrime. Well, cybercrime actually results in cyber attacks. Well, where do those cyber attacks occur and how do they occur? You might have heard of something called phishing. And phishing in its pure simplest form is somebody sending a cyber criminal, sending an email to somebody where it looks like it's coming from somebody that they know. It might be something simple as, hey, can you look at this document and let me know what you think? And they call it phishing because that email is really the bait. As soon as somebody either replies to that email, opens up an attachment, that cyber criminal immediately has access to that individual's computer and all of the data associated. So many organizations have actually done training with all of their employees to help them identify where those phishing situations might occur and to not only not respond, but to report them to their IT department. Ransomware strategies. We talked a little bit about, individuals who have the ability to paralyze an organization. There are cyber criminals that literally have the ability to get into an organization, actually steal their data, their information, and then they attempt to hold that organization hostage and demand payment in order for them to get that information back. Sometimes that ransomware strategies, that actually occurs on an individual basis as well, where you might get an email saying, you know what, we are a bank, or we have your banking information, and if you don't, submit a payment to us of $25 or $100, we're going to sell your information. So that ransomware continues to be a growing area in the cybercrime circle. Cryptojacking, just the whole use of cryptocurrency now has created a whole new set of requirements for protecting data. Physical attacks, cyber criminals literally having the ability to get into your computer and manipulate data. State-sponsored attacks, right? All forms of government having the ability for cyber criminals to get into those different government agencies and hack their information. The internet, just basic utilization of the internet. Smart medical devices, electronic medical records, just anything that tracks data, utilizes data, home medical devices that senior citizens utilize to stay in touch with their medical providers is an opportunity for cyber criminals. Medical records now being stored on computers and in data versus the old paper filing system. When the pandemic hit, vendors, contractors, and partners needed to look at conducting business differently. And for many of them, that meant having to go virtual. So now when you're working with vendors, contractors, or partners, more than likely your organizations are doing that electronically. So those third-party interactions create an opportunity for cyber criminals. Connected cars and semi-autonomous vehicles, right? The ability to access your data from your phone through your vehicle, it's a reality right now. If you utilize or sync your phone to your automobile from a GPS perspective, from a Bluetooth perspective, that connection alone creates an opportunity for cyber criminals to access your data. I just found out yesterday from a friend of mine who works at General Motors that individuals now, the new wave of cyber criminal with connected cars and smart vehicles is to manipulate and control the vehicle and the ability to shut the vehicle down. And the belief is that if cyber criminals can do that, then they can go to the manufacturers and demand a ransom and say, you know what, we'll continue shutting your vehicles down on the road unless you pay us a ransom. So the automotive industry, as you'll see, is one area that has an increasing need for cybersecurity protection. And then social engineering, just the whole utilization of how we all interact socially. I won't get into this. These are just some business quotes. CIO.com, Business Line, Forbes, just really talking about the increasing need for cybersecurity in India, for example, which we'll get into a little bit more detail. They're expecting the cybersecurity market in India to grow to $35 billion by 2025. And for cybersecurity, you'll see, according to Forbes magazine, it's not just a job. They're actually the jobs of the future. And I'm going to present some data that's going to show you how quickly those jobs are growing and what the job outlook looks like. So the industries that are in need of cybersecurity, one of the most obvious is banking and financial, right? Follow the money. Where's the money? Greatest opportunity for cyber criminals. Healthcare. We talked about how medical organizations now keep track of their data. If you go into a hospital or you go into an emergency room now, right? All of that data, somebody usually comes in with a laptop or an iPad and they collect all that information, all that data. E-commerce. Not a weekend goes by where I don't see an Amazon truck on my street at least 5 to 10 times, right? So the way we buy and the way we purchase things over this last holiday season in the U.S., the utilization of the internet to do holiday shopping increased by a dramatic close to 40%. So people are no longer going into the stores to do their shopping. They're shopping over the internet. So e-commerce is an area. Manufacturing. Manufacturers now have to rely upon the internet and selling their goods and their services virtually compared to the way they did 3-5 years ago. We talked about the automotive. Hospitality is a huge area. There was a cruise line recently which had a very significant data breach. So, you know, your cruise lines, your hotel industries, your restaurants, anything in the hospitality where people are booking reservations, airlines, right? Booking reservations, making payments. That's a huge opportunity for cyber criminals. State, federal, and local government agencies, you know, they hold a wealth of information, and cyber criminals typically target those government agencies, again, hoping to extract and steal high quality data. Education. Last year alone in the U.S., there were 3 major universities which had their data compromised. And as a result, they had to spend millions of dollars to increase and improve their data security in order to ensure that their students and their customers and ensure everyone that they serviced, that their data was protected. The airline industry. And the airline industry, not simply from a reservation perspective or a passenger perspective, but I think we can all remember the tragic events of 9/11. And it's not far-fetched. And many individuals and leaders in our protective agencies of government are concerned that cyber criminals one day may be able to hijack an airliner, not physically, but electronically. And that could actually lead to very catastrophic results. So the airline industry, again, not just from a reservation or a passenger perspective, but even from a functioning capability, is an industry that will continue to see increases demands. And then mobile communication, right? Everything we do, everything, the way we communicate, the way we buy, we purchase, we do our banking. There's so much that we do on our phones now that mobile communication will continue to be an industry in great demand. Here's what's interesting. In 2020, cybersecurity jobs grew by 38%. If you put all of the other IT jobs together in all other areas, they only grew by 18%. And I believe 2021's results were close to the same. So what does that indicate? That indicates that if cybersecurity jobs are growing by close to 40% compared to an approximate 20% of all other IT jobs, there must be a demand. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's actually they're actually indicating that the cybersecurity sector between 2019 and 2029 will grow by 31% overall. And what's interesting is if you take every other occupation, not just IT, but every other occupation, that cybersecurity growth actually exceeds all of those. So those of you who might be asking, is cybersecurity a stable industry to be entering in? Whether you're looking to enter a new career, enter the field, or continue advancing your career in cybersecurity, the answer without a doubt is a resounding yes. And I think the data and the numbers indicate that. So what are some of these in-demand career opportunities? I'm not going to read every position here, but a security specialist, and these are average starting salaries, $111,000. Incident responder, $110,000. Security administrator, $91,000. Vulnerability assessor, $90,000. Cryptographer, $73,000. Information security analyst, $90,000 to $160,000. You might have heard the term CISO, which actually stands for Chief Information Security Officer. Every organization should have one or does have one. That average salary is over $200,000 in US dollars. What I would encourage you to do is, if you are contemplating entering cybersecurity as a career, I would encourage you to go out on the different job sites, ZipRecruiter, jobs.com, Indeed. Look at the different positions. Look at the different salaries. I would also encourage you to determine what specifically you like to do, right? So there are individuals who monitor organizations' data and ensures that their networks are safe, right? Security specialists. You actually have individuals who are penetration testers. Their job is to kind of put on the hat of a cyber criminal and go in and try to penetrate their organization's data systems and see if they can break into their system and find those vulnerabilities. A vulnerability assessor. Individuals who identify those vulnerabilities then help determine what they can do to fix those leaks or fix those problems. Forensic experts, right? I'm sure many of us have seen the CSI television series where they come in and they investigate the forensics and put the evidence together. The same, it occurs within cybersecurity. Organizations have individuals who look identify whenever there's a cyber crime that occurs. They identify, they try to find the source, they do an investigation, they try to gather data, and quite often those forensic experts serve as witnesses for the prosecution when the organization prosecutes individuals for those cyber crimes. So again, there's a wealth of different opportunities and careers within the cybersecurity umbrella. So I would ask yourself what exactly it is that you want to do, and then I would encourage you to look at those job sites. So let's talk about the global environment, right? Within India right now, and I'm not going to read every bullet point, but there are 3 regions of the world that are experiencing a huge influx of cybercrime and a huge influx in the need for cybersecurity professionals. India is one of them. And India's, and I think I had quoted this from one of the sources earlier, the cybersecurity market and the need for products and services in cybersecurity is going to grow to $35 billion. $35 billion in 10 years, up from $4.5 billion, right? Right now, they're also indicating that even though India has the world's largest IT talent pool, India actually lacks and currently leads in lacking experienced cybersecurity experts. So they lead in the area of having an employment gap for filling those much needed cybersecurity positions. In addition to that, businesses are ready to pay a premium to cybersecurity specialists in India because the need is in such demand. And again, it's expected to grow very rapidly. Many of those job positions that we just went through are the same that exist in India. Network security engineer, cybersecurity analyst, chief information security officer, ethical hackers. Again, a wide wealth of different careers within cybersecurity are in demand in India. Well, what are some of the top companies that are currently hiring for cybersecurity professionals in India? Microsoft, Accenture, Salesforce, Deloitte, Tata Communications. So more and more organizations are quote unquote setting up shop and increasing their hiring within India because of that huge influx in that demand. A second region and area that is in great demand is in Nigeria, right? And why is that? Well, number one, Nigeria is continuing year after year to create more and more regulations around cybersecurity. And whenever there's an increase in regulation in this industry and in this area, along with that comes a need for cybersecurity professionals. There's a sharp rise of what they call deep fakes that are coming out of Nigeria. And those deep fakes, it's a term used to describe a cyber criminal. So if you have been a victim of a potential email scam or con where somebody, a most common one is, you know what, I'm a prince, I need access to my money in the US. If you send me $3,000, I then will give you access to go get my money and will give you, a certain percentage. A lot of these deep fakes, again, from an intelligence perspective, have been identified as coming out of Nigeria. So there's a huge need to kind of attack that cyber crime. Again, the need for more cybersecurity professionals. And then there's a signature-based antivirus, which is going to go extinct in many organizations. So the need to look at new, creative, and innovative ways of creating those are important. Careers in demand, or the industries needing professionals in Nigeria, the exact same as other regions, right? The financial, the banking industry, industries, the health, the Ministry of Defense is one in Nigeria, and then all non-governmental organizations. The third and the last one we'll talk about is Singapore, right? There were actually just under 2 million web threats against internet users that were blocked in Singapore last year. That was just from April to June, Okay, so think about that. Within 3 months, there were almost 2 million threats that were blocked. Think about how many that weren't blocked. Okay, and some of the data, there's an organization called the Cybersecurity Network, and they're kind of the primary source of data. They're showing that was an increase of almost 18% compared to the first 3 months. So quarter over quarter, Singapore is seeing almost a 20% increase in web threats. The senior minister for national security actually just unveiled an updated national cybersecurity plan for Singapore. So on a national basis, they're recognizing the need and actually appointing special plans and special task forces within the government to target and protect against these cyber crimes. What are Singapore's security threats? Well, one of the threats that Singapore saw an abundance in was when the COVID and the pandemic hit. Singapore was an area where exploiting the fear and the anxiety to deceive victims by impersonating government or health agencies really saw a significant increase. I think most regions saw that, cyber criminals taking advantage of that, but Singapore saw an extreme growth in trying to exploit that and that impersonation of government and health agencies. Anytime there's a new or an untested technology, like we talked about working from home, or having the ability to purchase or track vaccinations virtually or electronically, all of those open up the gates for the cyber criminals. So Singapore, in addition to many other areas, saw a huge influx of cybercrime due to the pandemic, and again, the need for more and more cybersecurity professionals. And then what are the job opportunities? I'm not going to repeat myself. It's the exact same as other countries, the banking, financial industries, healthcare. Singapore actually has seen a huge demand in their military and paramilitary agencies, Ministry of Defense, just as in India, and in the intelligence organization. So these three regions, India, Nigeria, and Singapore, they're in great demand. And many organizations are hiring in those countries specifically. So if you're a US-based individual looking to work internationally, that's a great opportunity. Many of these countries are hiring individuals and not necessarily requiring them to relocate to that region, but they have the ability to work remotely and still support that country in a cyber professional role. So what does EC Council University offer? So we like to think that we work with prospective students and we meet them at the road, their career path. We meet them where they're at. So we might work with a student who does not have any background in IT at all or cybersecurity, but they determine that they want to get into cybersecurity. Let's say a student has no college at all. We have the opportunity to work with that student and provide them non-degree certifications so they can get a degree in certified ethical hacking. They can get they can get a certification as a certified ethical hacker. They can get a certification as a certified network defender. And once they get that certification, they can actually go out there and secure an entry-level job in the industry and start working in the industry. What we find is many of those students ultimately come back and say, I need a degree, right? So we have a Bachelor's of Science in Cybersecurity. It's a degree completion program designed for a student who has some college or some certifications, but they've not yet earned a bachelor's. The nice thing about our bachelor's program is that if somebody comes to us with no background in cybersecurity or IT, the cybersecurity bachelor's program is still a great pathway for them. Why? We embed our certifications into the program. So while we provide these certifications individually, we actually embed them into our degree programs as well. We offer a Master's of Science in Cybersecurity. So if somebody has a bachelor's in a non-IT or non-cybersecurity area, they can easily enter our Master's of Science in Cybersecurity because we embed those certifications into the program. One area that we're seeing a big demand in is individuals that maybe they have an associate's in accounting or finance and want a bachelor's, or they have a bachelor's in accounting and finance and they want to get a master's. Those individuals are recognizing that by having both the experience in accounting and finance as well as cybersecurity makes them very valuable and very desirable from an employment perspective. Many banking, financial institutions, organizations, if you have somebody who can come to the table and have those cybersecurity certifications, that cybersecurity expertise and a background in finance or banking, that's very valuable. So if you currently have any college or you have a degree in a non-IT or a non-cybersecurity area, our programs are perfect for you. So I would encourage you to speak to one of our admissions advisors that can help you and show you that pathway. The other thing is if you have cybersecurity certifications from an accredited provider, you actually can utilize those certifications towards your degree programs. And what that means is we can look at your certification, and in some cases, transferring those certifications in, they allow you to waive out of certain courses in the programs, which means you take less courses, you pay less, and you can finish your program quicker. We also offer a Master's of Science in Computer Science. And the difference in our computer science program versus others is ours has a very heavy focus on cybersecurity. So the areas that we focus in on are blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and robotic systems. So most computer science programs out there will help you learn the basics from an IT and a computer science perspective. But in our Masters of Science in Computer Science program, you're going to have all of that additional focus in cybersecurity, which employers are looking for. So that will set you apart from individuals who've earned Masters of Science in Computer Science programs from other institutions. And then we offer just graduate certificate programs. So you might already have a bachelor's or a master's, and you just might want to get another certificate or a specialization in an area. And those areas are information security professional, security analyst, enterprise security analyst, digital forensics, incident management and business continuity, and executive leadership and information assurance. And that consists of you taking 3 courses in order to earn that graduate certificate. So again, whether you're somebody who's just exploring and you want to simply earn a certification to get started in the industry, ECCU can help you and can meet you where you're at. If you're looking to get a bachelor's, either your first bachelor's or a second bachelor's, master's, first master's, second master's, we can meet you where you're at in your journey and create an academic pathway for you to get there. Why earn a degree? So one question that comes up quite often during these webinars is, why earn a degree versus just getting the individual certifications and working? As I said earlier, many students come to us, earn those certifications and start working, but ultimately they come back to us to finish and to get that bachelor's and ultimately sometimes even that master's. Why? Well, more employers are requiring them. We're seeing more employers requiring their individual or their employees, if they currently don't hold a degree, they're requiring them to go back and finish that and earn that bachelor's or that master's. So, coming out of the gate with that bachelor's or master's, especially when you're interviewing or you're looking to secure employment, is going to make you a stronger candidate. It's going to qualify you for more advanced positions. I think one of the reasons many of you are here is trying to find out what kind of careers can you enter, and then how do you advance in your career. Having a degree will help you in that area. Preparing for leadership positions. right? Earning a degree not only gives you those certifications, but as I stated, it helps you develop critical thinking skills, negotiating skills, problem solving skills, becoming an innovative thinker, okay? Earning a degree helps you develop those skill sets and those competencies. All those are required for leadership positions. And you know what, as you advance in your career, hopefully you're increasing your salary potential. Having a degree is going to open up a wider opportunity for networking. Having a degree provides you with a more well-rounded education. Again, I talked about some of those skill sets and competencies. Also, versus simply earning a certification, while you're in that degree program, you're learning a deeper knowledge about cybersecurity and the industry and all aspects about cyber attacks and cyber crime. So you're developing that deeper knowledge. It's going to open up more employment opportunities for you. We talked about the different skills, and it's helping you prepare for the future. And I was talking to a student the other day, and I asked them how old they were and how long they thought they would be working for the rest of their lives. And here in the U.S., it used to be that the average retirement age was 65. Now I believe it's 70 or 71. So I was talking to a family member who's in their 20s. And, when I told them, you're probably going to be working for another 45 to 50 years, I think they were a little taken back. And I think that really, really kind of opened their eyes. And my comment to them was, if you're going to be working for another 45 years or be a part of the workforce, make sure you're in an industry that's going to continue to grow, and make sure you're doing something that you like. And again, who are we? We're the world's dedicated university when it comes to cybersecurity, and we're here to help prepare you. So I would like to thank you very much. I'd like to leave a few minutes for some to answer some questions. I will tell you, if we don't get to every question, I will encourage you to reach out to us. We have a team of expert admissions advisors who can have a simple discussion with you. Talk about where you're at in your process. You might just be wondering if cybersecurity even is an industry you want to get into. That's what our admissions team is here for, to help you explore those opportunities, see if it's the right opportunity for you, and answer any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and see, do we have any questions? What will agriculture fall under? Does it not require cybersecurity? Absolutely. I mean, if you think about the role that agriculture wasn't up there, but the role that agriculture plays just on the survival of our socioeconomic structure, absolutely. I mean, if you think about the fact that cyber criminals could paralyze an entire industry for a particular area of agriculture, basically every industry is in great need of cybersecurity professionals and making sure that their data and their systems and their networks are protected. Typically, it's to what degree, though. But yes, absolutely, agriculture is an area. Is a layoff happening in cybersecurity roles also? I've not heard any. I'll be honest with you. I mean, that's not to say, if somebody, I think there's an organization the other day that just announced they were going to be laying off 5,000 or 10,000 workers. I mean, I can't say that none of those were in cybersecurity, but the areas that I'm hearing where those layoffs are typically aren't in that. Usually when I see an organization that's laying off, I'll also go online and see if they're still hiring for cybersecurity. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. So if they're laying off in other areas. Is ECCU planning to start a PhD or doctorate in cybersecurity? Unfortunately, as of now, no. That's not to say that we won't in the future. I'm happy to say in a very short period of time, we hope to go to market with our third master's program. I'm not at liberty to discuss that right now, but we're pretty excited about what that additional master's program will bring. But at this time, no. A PhD or doctorate is not something that is on our program development list. Question: for those who are enrolled in EC Council courses, are they are they taken into account as credits achieved? Absolutely. So again, if you've earned and you've taken coursework and you've earned certifications at EC Council or any other accredited certification provider, reach out to us, because we can sit down and clearly show you how those certifications map out and play into your bachelor's program or your master's program. So absolutely, especially if you have EC Council certifications in coursework. But if you have certifications from another provider, reach out to us, because we'll check, make sure that it's on the list of the accrediting providers that we can accept. And again, the benefit there is it allows you to waive out of courses in the program. It allows, which means you take fewer courses, you pay less, and you finish quicker. Next question is, I have a bachelor's degree in telecommunications engineering. Can straight away take a master's degree in cybersecurity? Absolutely. That's what I had mentioned earlier. To get into either of our master's program, you don't have to have a bachelor's in IT. You can come to us with a bachelor's in biology. And the reason being is we build those certifications into the master's programs. So if you have a bachelor's program in any area, in any area, you can absolutely enroll and start in the master's program. Without any bachelor's degree or degree, which is the best certification to start in cybersecurity? I would encourage you, there's two answers to that question. And the question is, you don't have a bachelor's degree, but do you have some college credit? If you have some college credit, the bachelor's program still might be a viable option for you. If you don't have any college credit, then we would encourage you to start out with one to three of our certifications, which would be the Certified Ethical Hacker, Certified Network Defender, or the CHFI, which is the Forensic Investigator certification. Many students start out with the CEH. Many students take all three. In that situation, and to make sure that we're looking at your situation specifically, I would encourage you to reach out and speak to an admissions advisor. Security technologies like drones or robots, is that part of the program? Well, in our master's program, we definitely touch upon artificial intelligence and robotics. So in the master's in computer science program, you're going to see a very, very heavy focus in that area. In our other programs, we touch upon those, and obviously, you're not necessarily going to be working on drones, but those play into the overall aspect of looking at cybersecurity, possibly in your iLabs, maybe having some projects or assignments in those areas. But if you have a bachelor's and you're looking to get a master's, the master's in computer science would be my recommendation, because we have that heavy focus on artificial intelligence and robotics. Okay, I was wondering how much it will cost to take the master's course. If cost is a question, here's what I would encourage you to do. I would encourage you to speak to one of our admissions advisors, and here's why. Because we are a global university and a global institution, we do not have a one price fits all scenario. We have various pricing structures based upon the region of the world a student resides in, and based upon the region of the world that a student is coming to us from. So rather than try to answer that and provide a tuition cost that's not accurate, I would please encourage you to speak to one of our admissions advisors. One of the other reasons I would encourage you to speak to an advisor is we have a very generous offering of various scholarships, okay, that we make available to those students who qualify. We have many scholarships that students don't realize they qualify for until they speak to an admissions advisor. So I would really encourage you, please, if you're even remotely thinking about this as a career opportunity, it does not hurt to pick up the phone, to call us, speak to an advisor, and get some of those questions answered. Can I get an accelerated bachelor's degree in cybersecurity if possible? How long would it take to complete? Well, I like to think ours is somewhat accelerated. Our courses are 10 weeks long. We are not a self-taught university, and that ties directly into our mission. We know there are courses out there that are self-taught, that students can order online. What we find is that many of those students struggle, and then they end up coming to us. They struggle maybe because they don't have the study habits, they don't have the discipline, they don't have the support, whether it's other students, whether it's faculty and instructors, they don't have the support. I will tell you, we reduced our course length from 12 weeks to 10 weeks. So we are on 10-week modules, but we do not have an accelerated version. And again, we don't believe that accelerating anything quicker than the 10 weeks is really doing justice to preparing the student. I have a graduate certificate in cybersecurity from the University of Australia. Will I be considered for a master's at EC Council? Question offered by Elizabeth. Again, Elizabeth, it's hard for me to say. Please reach out to one of our admissions advisors. Let them know that you attended the webinar. And what I would encourage all of you to do, if you reach out and you speak to an admissions advisor, please let them know that you attended the webinar and that you had some follow-up questions. So we would need to look at that graduate certificate. A lot of questions there. Who is the university or the institution? What was learned in that certificate? What were their certifications that were? There's a variety of questions that we would need to look at, but we definitely would help you look at that and determine if you would be considered for the master's, and if not, maybe those apply towards a bachelor's, and the bachelor's is the best way to go. Again, it's hard for me to say, but an admissions advisor can definitely help you figure that out. If a certificate expires due to lack of CPE, do I have to resit or what? Okay, well, it depends on the certification. What is the certification in? Many certifications have an expiration date. If you currently have one, I would look at that. I'm sure that your employer would want you to recertify. We do work with companies and organizations that want us to come in and recertify many of their employees. In some cases, it's not even a matter that the certification is expiring. It's just they know that our certifications always provide the highest level when it comes to the most current trends and the current technologies. And it's another piece that I wanted to point out. Our curriculum isn't strictly designed by academics. We actually have committees, curriculum committees that are comprised of working professionals in the industry that help us develop our curriculum, our assignments, our lab experiences, to make sure that we have, that we're teaching what's most prevalent to a student. I specialize in the cyber forensics, seeing that cybersecurity is morphed with forensics, so I need to start to develop and certify. For instance, GIAC, do you count towards a bachelor's? Also have an IT diploma, no degree, so will these assist the bachelor's? Again, we need to look at those. We need to look at where these certifications were earned, what was comprised of those certifications, what skills were taught, and the outcomes and so forth. So whether they count or don't count, or whether we can apply them or not apply, we need to look at those, and an advisor can help you do that. Can a bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering undertake a master's? Yes, absolutely. I mean, again, any bachelor's degree, whether it's in petroleum engineering, biology, banking, finance, any bachelor's degree allows you to enter into our master's programs. And I'm going to try to answer one or two more here. I have a CCNA certification. Can this qualify me to do any of the bachelor's degree at ECC? I'm going to do the same answer. Please speak to an admissions advisor. They'll look at those certifications and see if we can apply those. How is, as a data processing officer, to improve my knowledge in cybersecurity? Again, are you looking to earn a degree? If you want to improve are you looking to improve your knowledge or develop an entirely new set of skills and competencies? So I think for this individual, Mustafa, I think the question is to have a discussion with an admissions advisor, see what exactly it is you're looking to improve your knowledge in, and to what degree you want to develop those skill sets. Then we can determine, is the degree program right for you? Is it an individual certification, or is it a graduate certificate? Okay, what is cybersecurity? Is there any practical aspects about cybersecurity? And I think I covered this in the beginning. Cybersecurity really is, it's protection. It's protection against criminals that are trying to steal data, information, money, criminals that are trying to corrupt systems of government agencies, companies, banking institutions, criminals that are trying to steal information, criminals that are trying to take that information, hold it for ransom, criminals that steal identity. Identity theft is a perfect example of a cybercrime. So that's exactly what cybercrime is. And cybersecurity is the development of skill sets, competencies, applications to make sure that networks, data, information, systems are all protected from those criminals. So I do apologize. I know we're beyond time. I know we were not able to get to every question. Again, if you have a question that we were not able to answer or get to, please reach out to an admissions advisor. Check us out on our website. Our website has a wealth of information. But again, I would really encourage you, sometimes you can read through information on a website and it doesn't really answer all your questions or give you the information you're looking for. That's what our admissions team is here for. That's what we're here to do. So with that, I would like to thank everybody. And again, whether you're simply exploring and wondering whether cybersecurity is a field or an area you want to enter and pursue, or whether you're looking to advance and you're already in that, EC Council University can meet you where you're at and answer all those questions and help put you on the right pathway. With that, I wish everyone a wonderful day, wonderful evening, and have a great rest of your week. Thank you.